The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just that little extra. Meet Godwin Kamau Mugo, a definition of love, care, happiness and reliability. He loves dancing, has passion for photography and above all, worshipping his maker and serving in church.
I would describe my brother Godwin as very friendly and so caring. Whenever I'm at work, he always asks me, Bonnie, how are you? How is your job?
He is very concerned. Each and every night when I sleep, he's like, hey, Mark, good night. Let's see each other tomorrow in the evening. And once I'm out from work, he's like, Mark, how are you? How was work? How are your friends at work?
A 25-year-old living with Down syndrome, a chromosomal disorder caused by an error in cell division that results in an extra 21st chromosome.
We realized as he grew up, because could be the only thing that you get worried about is when he was born. Could be he never gave that cry as it's normal. Could be it's after inducing that he gave that cry. So, but we saw him growing. It's only that you could see the growth is a bit retarded. Could be delay in walking, and that could be how we came to realize that well, we have a special child.
Nilipata mimba kama wale watoto wengine, lakini wakati nikienda kwa hospitali wakati alitoka kulia, alikaa for 30 minutes. Alafu mimi sikujua ati niko na special kid, lakini nikikaa kaona vile anakuwa, nilikuwa sikuamini, lakini nilikubali wakati niliona vile anatembea, anaanza kutambaa, na tena vile mtoto analilia kulilia matiti hakuwa analia, nikimlalisha kwa kiti hakuwa analia, so mimi nimwamshe anyonye, so nikaona kuna tofauti. Then kukua kwake alikuwa tu anakuwa pole.
At first glance, one cannot tell that Godwin has Down syndrome until you interact with him. He does his daily chores just like any other person.
You don't consider him to be so special. So if there is something wrong that he has done, let him know he has done it. And even if the other children are caned, why not him being caned? And out of that, I think the discipline is instilled.
I find him normal because if it's playing, he'll play. If it's adventure, like on Saturday, sometimes we take walks. We can go for a long distance walk. And whenever he's tired, he'll say, I'm tired. So let's pause. And then we can continue later. I don't find him that different because you can talk to him. He even has a phone, you can call him and tell him, hey, I need something. Can you check whether I left it as it was or where it is? And he'll give you the feedback.
Growing up, we play around, go to school, crack jokes, and as siblings, men will tease each other. The case wasn't any different for Godwin and his siblings.
You're my dad.
Growing up with him when you were kids, when you were in primary school, I used to carry him every day, going to school Monday to Friday.
Him and the younger brother, our fourth born, they would go play, and then either some kids will either have to fight with them, and maybe they want to now fight with Godwin, and Godwin would be, hey, he told their brother, hey, out on to chapa, so and then they come and tell us.
Hatujachana sana kimiaka, so tumegrow naye tukicheza, ama kuzimania TV tukiona cartoon, tukiona nani, so mimi sijaona different ya mimi na yeye.
The third born in a family of 4, Godwin attended normal school until at a later stage when his parents felt that he wasn't gaining much due to his low intake of lessons. His parents withdrew him from school and instead offered him life skills at home that have really been beneficial to him and those around him.
There's a time nilifikiria juu yake wakati wa kwenda shule. So nikashindwa huyu mtoto ataenda shule aje. But siku moja wakienda na brother yake the last born na hao wengine walikuwa wananiambia watoto wakirudi nyumbani wakaniambia tumeshapwa. Saa nimepigwa na mawe nikashindwa ni nani. But siku moja ile alikuwa nasoma the public school nursery. Saa nikamtoa yeye nikampeleka kwa private school. Saa mwalimu mmoja ni mkubwa wa shule akaniambia kuna center ambaye watoto kama hawa wanaangaliwa. Nikauliza baba yake akaniambia tu naweza enda. Ilikuwa center ya special. Akafanywa interview, akaonekana atakuwa akiangaliwa na mwalimu mmoja ndiye atakuwa akienda kwa hiyo shule anasomea na muangalia. Nikaona hakuna usaidizi kwa hiyo na mtoto wangu kwa hiyo shule. Tena tukamtoa kwa sababu mtoto anakuwa haendi the normal school ama darasa. Tukamtoa tu tukamleta hapa tukaona ni afadhali akae kwa nyumba. Kuna kazi kama akiwa hapa hawezi akakaa bila kufanya chochote. Anaweza jiambia aoshe nyumba. Kuna wakati tulimwekea rabbit. Analisha rabbit zikakuliwa na mbwa.
Raising a child with a special condition has not been an easy task, for the journey has been a bumpy ride.
Kuna challenges zinakutana na kuwaga nazo za watoto juu. Unashindwa sometimes. Sasa huyu mtoto akiwa mkubwa tutafanya nini? But si Mungu anajua.
He couldn't go through the normal schooling, and as much as you just reach, okay, he can grow, and then because now that he cannot do anything alone, he has to have somebody. Then you assist Godwin as much as possible. Sometimes you feel when you find this child wants to talk, but could be you cannot get clearly what he's saying. You wish if only he could be friends like any other person, and you can give stories. You can be happy with the stories.
Statistics show that 1 in every 800 children in Kenya are born with Down syndrome, and Godwin's case is just 1 in about 40,000 other Kenyans living with Down syndrome, a condition that results to impairments in both cognitive ability and physical growth from mild to moderate developmental disabilities. Down syndrome, also known as trisomy 21, is a genetic condition which is the commonest identifiable cause of intellectual disability. It occurs equally in all races.
Down syndrome is a chromosomal disorder whereby during fertilization, the man produces a sperm and the woman produces an ova. And each of these has 23 chromosomes. So whenever they come to meet, then this process of how they meet, develops sort of a challenge. Then you end up having the baby who is formed having an extra chromosome. To be very specific, it's chromosome number 21. It's about that particular specific chromosome, which the division doesn't happen right. The 90% of Down syndrome that we have is the trisomy 21. However, you'd also have other different types of Down syndrome, but this one is the most common one.
Children born with Down syndrome have special physical appearance as a result of the extra chromosome.
When you get Down syndrome, it comes as a package of some few developmental issues. Our topmost is physical features, where they come a little bit distorted. Apparently, all people who have trisomy 21 challenges, they look like they look the same literally, and you can always tell from a look. They have a very deep ridge of the nose. Their eyes are set a little bit down on the face. The ears are also set down. They tend to have a very short neck that has got some extra layers at the back. You know, when you shorten the neck, because the neck is short ideally, then you end up having some few layers at the back. Human beings have several creases. We've got this Hypotonia creases, the thinner crease, so they tend to have only one of this as opposed to a well-processed palmar creases. Then down at the foot, where the big toe joins the other toes, they tend to have it very, very wide. Yeah, I say it a fox. It forms sort of a V in between.
Down syndrome is a condition and a topic that is not understood by many. A lot of people think that a parent to a Down syndrome child could have done something wrong either before or after birth, which is not the case.
You don't choose. Yeah, people would like to have a very bright children, but is it always the case? Do you throw away your child because it could be that person can be gifted in other ways?
The reason, it's about that particular specific chromosome, which the division doesn't happen right. And there are so many reasons why it may not happen right. Some of them you may not have control over them because there is very little that you can do at that particular time, because it's just a normal process of fertilization that happens. Then it just gets mutated, and when it's mutated, you end up having an extra chromosome.
Angela is a mom to an 11-year-old boy who is among the 40,000 Kenyans living with Down syndrome. For her, everything was normal during pregnancy and after she gave birth to his son. The physical features related to Down syndrome were not pronounced until his son was 3 months old.
After I gave birth to Jeremy, the physical features that are usually there for children with Down syndrome, they were not so pronounced for him, so I did not know until he was 3 months, when I noticed he could not hold his neck. Like, his neck was very floppy. When you held him upright, he could not step, like his legs were also very wobbly. So that's when we went and saw the doctor, and she told me he has Down syndrome.
Down syndrome can be diagnosed prenatally. However, once it's evident that the child will be born with Down syndrome, nothing can be done other than accepting and managing the condition.
Technology has offered some few options whereby you can do some analysis using ultrasound. You rely on the size of the neck, and then you query the size of the neck, maybe because it's always short. Perhaps you could now escalate the process if you query. There are reservations that you can go in and collect some amniotic fluid and do an analysis of the chromosomes available in that amniotic fluid. However, this also poses a risk to the baby, or to the even. Sometimes you can have early labor, you can have a miscarriage. There's very little you can do because Down syndrome is it's a genetic makeup, and you have already been formed. Remember, it happens when the ova and the sperm meet. So there is very little you can do, to try and separate the two. But sometimes preparedness is very key.
I had heard about Down syndrome, but Just like the same way we hear about something like autism or cerebral palsy, we know it's there, but you really don't dwell so much into it because we didn't have, I didn't know anybody who has Down syndrome. So I came now to know about it in depth after I realized, I was told that my son has Down syndrome.
Whenever you have a baby with special needs, I think one of the most important things that you can ever do is first to defeat your fear, to defeat your stigma, and then come out and talk about it. That way, you have beaten the first devil. Then the rest now, it's just a matter of time how you deal with them.
Children with the Down syndrome condition experience delayed milestones, and to many parents, every step in life is crucial, for they achieve life's milestones at a slower pace, and all they need is patience.
Of course, one thing with Down syndrome is the children have delayed milestones. Everything that he achieves in his own pace. Everything that happened or is happening in his life is happening way later than other children. Initially, I had moments where I would compare him with other kids, but now every achievement that he gets is a celebration for us because it's something we look forward to him doing.
One of the challenges that our children have is motor issue, or it's a tone issue. So when you don't manage the tone issue early enough, you are likely to suppress the little cognitive that children have. You suppress it instead of growing it. Child development, it's very reflexive. They present with some specific reflex at specific different times within the life cycle of growing up. So you need to know, or the mothers may need to know, how early you may want to begin some things to help the baby develop or advance them tomorrow.
Chachi ulifanya kazi gani? Harambee. Na nini ingine?
Speech and language development can be challenging for many children with Down syndrome, resulting to learning problems and feeding difficulties. Although most children with Down syndrome learn to speak and will use speech as their primary means of communication, they will understand language and have the desire to communicate well before they are able to speak.
Down syndrome is about management, and within the management, the word therapy is very common. So as I've told you, they will thrive to full potential, but it's about how you intervene the processes, because they are born with challenges that will require, they require help to get some specific skills. There are different types of therapy, for example, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, sometimes vision therapy, audiology, specific conditions for each baby, because they all don't cut across. One will find with this problem, the other one has the other problem.
For example, right now he's 11 years. We are still learning to talk. Speech is still an issue, although he can communicate. Everything that happened or is happening in his life is happening way later than other children.
Speech therapy is very important because it's part of the output of sensory processing. When I talk of output, I mean everything. We are all human beings have products of sensory integration. It's about what you get from the environment and take it in. So when you take out, you either respond in motion, or you either respond by words, or you respond through the hand. This is very, especially the speech and the hand, they are very, very critical as outputs of cognitive processing. So speech is important. You begin it. And you just don't wake up and begin speech. You have to prepare your baby for speech. Like now, all the children with Down syndrome are born with a little bit, some malformation of the tongue, where the tongue is not well separated, so they tend to protrude the tongue out. Teach your baby And if you teach, they will learn. Me, that's what I've come to realize. If you teach, they will learn. Because the more you keep on encouraging the mouth to remain not well organized, the more you're likely to develop with challenges of articulation. So you begin talking to them early. And children, first language is non-verbal communication. They understand. Yeah. Then the other thing is also when you're normalizing tone, don't forget the oral musculature is part and parcel of tone management. Yeah. When you have a problem with swallowing because the tone is not strong enough to cause contraction, relaxation of the GIT system to force the contents of the mouth down. Now the other thing is, as they advance, there are early things that you can always do. The first language of a baby is smile. Yeah, and sometimes they smile when they are sleeping. They are fast asleep, and you see them with a very good smile. Okay, please, as a mother, know that you have a duty, a little bit of an extra duty, other than the regular duty. Encourage the baby more.
According to Dr. Chengo, Down syndrome is a manageable condition through day-to-day training and therapy. Other than therapy, parents or caregivers of people living with Down syndrome are advised to train and engage them in different day-to-day activities.
From where I sit, any baby who is born with Down syndrome, whether you are seeing challenges or you are not seeing a challenge, put that baby on therapy. You wait on the safe side always. When you stay in the dark, just because you perhaps you are told the baby is fine, and you know deep down your heart, probably you did a karyotype, because that's a test that is done to confirm the chromosomal contents, yeah? And you are sure your baby has a challenge, and you know what the package of this problem. Why would you not go for the heart, the rest of the investigations, all of them, and then begin therapy enough? I mean, I find it funny. The earlier you begin, the better. And all the time, be on the safe side, but don't wait on the not knowing side, where you expect anything 50-50, as we call it in Kenya. Not many people who understand how we grow our mental faculties. We call it cognitive development. And this is how we grow. Cognitive development is acquired from play. And play is so intuitive. When I say it is intuitive, I mean it comes from inside. It's innate. And there is very little option you can do about it. It will come out anyway because it allows them to grow. Now, play requires a lot of gross motor, fine motor stuff. And one of the challenges that our children have is motor issue, or it's a tone issue. So when you don't manage the tone issue early enough, you are likely to suppress the little cognitive that children have. You suppress it instead of growing it. So teaching playing skills is very important. Fine motor. Fine motor means those small things. You button using fine motor. You write using fine motor. You sign using fine motor. You do lessons using fine motor. All this stuff that you do, it's all the all functions of fine motor. So these children, because of their cognitive limitations, they are born without these skills. They are not there. So you have to teach them straight away from the word go as early as possible. Child development, it's very reflexive. They present with some specific reflex at specific different times within the life cycle of growing up. So you need to know, or the mothers may need to know, how early you may want to begin some things to help the baby develop or advance them tomorrow. For example, we have what we call the palmar grasp reflex. All babies are born with clenched face. By the 6th month, the children behave in a very funny way. Now, I'm talking about regular children or all children. This palmar-gracile reflex needs to be completely integrated. So by so doing, they throw things, they cry, you pick for them. You pick for them, you give them, they throw. You give them again, they throw. You give them umenichosha. That's what we do. Ideally, in a real scenario, developmentalists encourage, please mchukulie, atupe. It's an integration process because they need to have, and that's where now the functions of fine motor, all of them begin. You miss them from that point, then you will struggle every other stage outside there.
Everything, we worked so hard for most of the things with him. For him to walk, for him to stand because he had very low muscle tone. Going to school, he goes to an integrated school. Learning to write and comprehend, feeding himself, toileting, like he, going to the loo by himself and actually finishing everything by himself, taking a shower, all those things. So I can say every single thing that he achieves is a celebration.
The best people who would help you to do this, they are occupational therapists. They would, after they manage the tone, then they would move a little bit advanced to make sure that as you look for other aspects of development, you also grow or help them acquire some cognitive functions.
The condition also increases the risk of developing other health conditions.
Systems issues. When I talk of systems, I'm talking body systems now. For example, the heart is one of the most affected part of the condition, whereby you have the heart develops some specific holes, or the holes don't close completely. So you might have having them a procedure to be done to close part of the heart, of the holes in the heart. The other challenge is something we call hypotonia. Hypotonia is a condition of a muscle, and muscles have different tones. Like we have like 3 to 4 tones of a muscle, and we say tone is tension in a muscle that allows you to perform a specific activity. So when you say a tone is a hypotonic, it's the baby looks lousy, the baby looks lazy, it looks, like not active, Then the opposite of that is also the other types of tone, where you can talk of a spastic tone, an athetoidic tone, or a normal tone. Thyroid issues, they're also very common. And when you talk of thyroid issues, the thyroid glands are it's like the engine that runs the human body, literally. So even mostly the hypotonia challenges that come or show themselves in these children, their origin many times is always traced from the thyroid glands. So you end up having either the thyroids process too much or they process very little, and then you end up getting developmental challenges. Now, respiratory issues is a nightmare. And again, this you trace it back to the tone issues. Because all the human activities, all of them, they have something to do with the tone. You walk using tone, you run using tone, you blink using tone, you breathe using tone, you eat using tone, you poo-poo using tone. So everything is about tone, tone, tone. So other than the respiratory challenge itself, sometimes it becomes a nightmare during feeding, because the swallowing process it requires contraction and relaxation of the GIT system to force contents of the mouth down the tummy. So when the tone is very weak, then you end up having an hitch during this process. So part of the food find its way down to the lungs. When it goes to the lungs, the first spoon, a very small bit, the next spoon, another bit, it goes and accumulates in form of water down on the lungs. When this happens, the next thing you realize, you find yourself in ICU, diagnosed with some very severe pneumonia. So this complicates the whole process because you have to manage the pneumonia, and again now you have to prevent, because preventing now becomes key. So how you prevent it now, you have to look for alternative means or ways of how to make the baby feed. And now the gastroenterologist may want to give options. For example, you can have a stoma right at the tummy where you just feed using a pump. You may have some tube that goes here, it goes to the tummy and feed, and etc. Sometimes, where necessary, you may want to ventilate them, meaning you may want to have some oxygen near just to help them support their breathing system.
There are many myths associated with Down syndrome, especially about the risk factors. Some parents have a greater risk of having a baby with Down syndrome.
I'm born of a woman who I think she should have been 52, because she's approaching 90s now. And well, I mean, there's some research as shown. However, that's not a gospel truth. That's not a gospel truth, because currently I even have people who they're in their 20s, they're in their 30s, and it happens. Yeah, but research previously has shown that women or parents who are at a little bit of an advanced age, they keep on changing the ages. They talk about 40 now. Unfortunately, some of this information that we get or the data that we use here is not, it's not our own data. It's not an African, it's not Kenyan data. We rely on data from the Western world. And you know, life expectancy outside here and life expectancy in Kenya, they are all different. Probably here it's fine. It's in order to have babies in 40s. It's very normal. It can happen at any stage, and it happens at any stage.
Down syndrome comes with many challenges. Many parents, children, and people living with Down syndrome fight the stigma and discrimination that comes with it.
There are people who would still stare at him. Initially, I would get annoyed in a way, but nowadays I'm fine. There are some parents who sadly would not allow their children to play with special needs children, like they would, distance their children from them.
Stigma is there that perhaps you wronged your ancestors, your mother-in-law cursed you, ukuchinjia so and so, kule kuku mweusi, wajua your grandfather before he died alisema na hukufuata tambiko. There are all sorts of crazy reasoning. I mean, some women from some specific families or a certain specific family is cursed, whereby sometimes they feel, you are punished by God. You sinned, yeah, from the church side of it. Yeah, you committed 1, 2, 3 sins. The most important thing as a mother is to educate the mothers to know what exactly caused Down syndrome, and then let them understand, and then speak about it, and be the advocates of their own children. The people with Down syndrome, they will grow to maturity. When I turned 8 and I realized my mother is shy is away from me. My mother doesn't like going with me. My parents have issues with me. You get what I mean? So I am the problem of this family, and they understand. I am the problem. So I also my self-esteem gets compromised. If you beat yourself, or you beat your ego first, and you beat the stigma in you, you will do the right processing. I've been in this journey for a while and I've seen mothers who cry every day. Now, if you cry every day, it means that you're not parent right. So you need to come out from the hoods first and come out very strong and know you are the advocate of your own child. Tell him you are smart. Tell that baby you are beautiful. Tell that baby I can't live without you. Tell that baby you are my everything. It's just a baby like any other. So from there, encourage the baby more. Smile to the baby. Coo when the baby coos, because the first language is also cooing. They na 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 na. They wake up, they make some funny noise. Repeat the noise to the baby. Talk to your baby. They listen and they hear, even as little as they are.
People with Down syndrome live with their families or independently, go to mainstream schools, read and write, participate in the community, and have jobs. People with Down syndrome can live fulfilling lives.
Kuna watu ambaye wanataka watoto kama hao. Nasikia kuna tukikutana na mama wananiambia afadhali wewe uko na mtoto kama huyu. Mimi hata sina. Tena kuna mwingine nalia bila ana mtoto. So ni mtu akubali mtoto ni wake na ni Mungu alimpatia. Na asimufishe. Ajue hiyo ni jukumu amepewa, lakini pengine hata ukirudi kwa Mungu, ukirudi kufikiria mambo ya Mungu, na unaweza pengine huyu ni Mungu tuko naye kwa nyumba. So ukubali una mtoto special kama huyu.
Jeremy is, I would say he's my special package from God, because he has brought immense joy in our lives and my life. Okay, I love both my kids, but Jeremy has taught us a lot. He's taught us patience. He's taught us not to take life lightly, to appreciate everything. He's very jovial. He's very lively and very loving. He's taught me to love, like he just has a lot of love in himself. So he's taught me to love so much as well. And he's hilarious. He's very funny. He likes making jokes. He makes us laugh so much. So he's just a special boy, and he loves giving hugs. So I look forward to those hugs.
Children are God's gift. And so however way you are gifted, then you should accept it and try to make that child be happy like any other child. Let him feel accepted, and always let him feel like he's like any other person. And that's how I would advise people and parents to accept that this is you have been given this child by God, and you are called to bring up that child just the way special that child is. And I think the moment you yourself you accept, I think even the community will accept that child. So it's not about whether that child is accepted by other people. That's your own. And let's appreciate God's gift. You never know why. It could be there was something special for you, or you are required to prove something.
Give them the respect they need. If it's guidance, give them the guidance they need, and always keep them aware, because like we're speaking now, we are aware of the coronavirus, and in case you ask him to greet you, he'll tell you, hey, he can't greet you by hand. He knows now in this hand is not it's not a good way of greetings because of the coronavirus. I think the moment you treat the kids the similar with ourselves, the more they also come to understand themselves very well and love to be who they are with the rest of the people.
They grow skills very well, and one of the most common things is they have a very serious routine. Serious routine. If they get used to something, they will never disappoint you. So I like encouraging mothers to teach them a routine which is of benefit to them, but not a routine of waking up and sitting down to watch TV and cartoon. If you go that road, that it's going to be a challenge. So it's sort of a routine that you can grow for for them to do something even in the near future. Yeah, if you're a mother and you have realized your son has potential. When I talk of potential, I don't mean being a star. That's not what I'm looking for. What is it that your son, what is it that your daughter, what is it that your grandson, because we all of us play part and parcel of bringing them up. What is this small thing that he does, and he does it so well? That, take it. That, grow it. That, let him know he's good at it. And from there, you can always make a career out of it.
Children with Down syndrome can achieve a lot. We have children in the West who are international models, some who are even in parliament that have Down syndrome. We have actors that are people with Down syndrome. So they can achieve anything, just like any other child out there.
People living with Down syndrome are just like you and me. The only thing is that they have special ability. They have full potential, and all they need is just a little training and patience. For CAC TV, I'm Aida Munzatsi.